Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. I want to remind you, if you're watching us, well, you can watch us on our YouTube channel, The Stephen Knight Show, or you can listen to us at Anchor, and wherever you listen to your podcast. We have a very special guest co-host. This is our second to last show for the season, but we have a special guest co-host today, Nina Blaylock. Excuse me. Nina, welcome to the show.
Thank you, guys. Hi.
Listen, I know you do a lot of stuff, so tell everybody about everything about
Yeah, I do a lot of stuff. When you said it out loud, I was like, good grief. I need a vacation.
Right.
So first, of course, I'm a mom, which means I'm a nurse, I'm a monster killer,
Yes.
I'm a boo-boo kisser, I am a therapist, I am a chauffeur, I am all of those things. So that's my first 70
Right.
jobs. Then after that, I am an author, a speaker. I am, when I have the energy for it, a singer songwriter. But I have, I dibble and dab in that when the opportunity presents itself.
Most definitely.
But my primary focus is I am a mental health warrior. So that simply means that I've taken on the charge and the fight to end the stigma and bring awareness to mental illness and mental health awareness in neighborhoods and communities of color, because we really don't like having that conversation.
Right.
And that has been my charge to keep, so to speak. A couple of years ago, I was praying and meditating, and then God gave me the idea, or the title. I've been dubbed Hope Dealer. So I created an entire world around that, merchandising, all kinds of stuff. And a hope dealer is simply someone that infuses the idea that the impossible is possible, especially when you lose all sense of hope and you lose all sense of whatever it is. With us, the people of color and mental illness, is the numbers are growing, and it's like, I don't think I can come out of this, because speaking frankly, we always use church and chicken to solve every problem.
It's true. It's true.
So, nobody wants to talk about that. And that's not how we're going to get through this. That's how we have alcoholism, drug abuse. That's how we have PTSD from not even being in Vietnam, World War One, two, or currently World War Three. Iraq, wherever you may have been stationed, that's why I call it warrior, because I feel like this is a war, and I've been dubbed to fight it, and I'm going to fight it until I don't have any fight left, because I had to fight it for myself.
Most definitely. And this year obviously has been trying for a lot of people, with so many deaths, the pandemic, the racial injustice. What advice do you give people during this time?
I've been paying close attention to that, because I think I've gotten an influx now more than ever of people DMing me, because I also run a consulting business called Al Musaid. I'm Muslim, and so I like to infuse my faith that I do. And Al Musaid means the helper in Arabic.
Okay.
And so with my company, I offer mental health coaching. I'm not a licensed clinician, but I have almost 15 years in human services. So I've seen it all. I've worked in foster care, and I've worked a little bit of everywhere. So Al Musaid is designed to coach people through the process of creating mental wellness for themselves. And I have seen an influx, and people are like, how do I look for a therapist? How do I contact them about my benefits? What do you do on a daily basis to maintain your mental health? Because I know you publicly speak about having multiple diagnoses. I give that advice, and I try to create a blueprint. So when they're calling me, what I tell them is, you got to understand that this is a fight. You're not going to wake up and be okay tomorrow.
Right.
It's not something that we say in our community, snap out of it. You're not going to be okay tomorrow. And with the social injustice and the level of trauma, as you said, I had I was told about 5 deaths last week, and I knew each person personally, from youth to elder. From
Yeah.
I mean, when I say from probably 30s to 94 years old, 4 out of the 5 were COVID.
Wow. Well, I'm
So
sorry
I'm
to hear
like,
that, for sure.
thank you. I'm just like, we have to understand that we can't snap out of this. We can't
Right.
drink our way out of it. We can't
Right.
party our way out of it. We can't sex our way out of it. We can
Mhm.
those things, we use those things as a, a letdown mechanism, enjoy yourself, have fun. But when it becomes something you're using to cope, your risk-taking behavior increases drastically. And you
Yeah.
start trying to pull the reins off and say, I'm just gonna, and then by
Right.
the time you look, you're too far gone. So what I
Yeah.
tell people is, if you have a faith base, rely on that. Don't apologize for using your faith to find stability in this
Mhm.
season. And also
Yeah.
reach out to you. You go to work all day. You don't even like these people. You don't even want to work for them. You pay for your benefits out of your paycheck if you still have a job. And
Mhm.
you're not going to use the benefits that you're paying for.
Right. Right.
Most places have EAP benefits, which is an employee assistance program for those of you that don't know. Your employer probably has an EAP program, and trust and believe they paying for it somehow. So that paycheck
Mhm.
that they paying you need to use everything because you
Most
probably the
definitely.
majority of your benefits.
Yeah,
People are
that's
paying
true.
$200, $300, $400 a month to be insured,
Right.
then don't get the benefit.
Yeah. That's
So
facts
it's like,
though.
you gotta stop being scared. I tell people, they're like, well,
Mhm.
Nina, I don't know. I don't want to tell my family, I don't want to tell no stranger my business. I'm like, but you're gonna sit on the corner with Malik and take some shots. And Malik
Right.
can't
Right.
tell Tamika all your business. Tamika can't
Mhm.
help you.
Right. Exactly. That's true.
You're gonna tell everybody your business that can't help you. And then they're gonna tell Carrie and say, I think she crazy. And it becomes a
Mhm.
ripple effect.
Yeah. Yeah. Best thing
So
ever. The best thing I ever did was get a therapist. So I've had a therapist since 2017. It's the best thing I ever did. So
therapy is cool. I have more
yeah.
than one. So
Mhm.
it's like,
Right.
what I deal with in the inboxes I get and what I receive from people, I have to find somewhere to purge all of that because I'm an empath.
Yeah.
So me taking
Right.
all of that in constantly, like by the
It's
end
a
of the
lot.
day, like I feel like
Yeah.
somebody,
Draining. Yeah.
I give because I know there are people that God is going to send to pour back in.
Hmm.
As long as I'm willing and I'm giving, that's why I give so much information away. And people are
Yeah.
like, online course, you could teach this, you could tell that. I'm like, oh, I'm working on it. But this is not about me trying to gain capital off of
Right.
the backs of people's pain.
Yeah. That's
This
true.
is me trying to give information that our people need.
Yeah. That's
Need it. And
true.
so
That's
I
true.
would tell people, please, please contact your employer. I think there are a couple of companies now that do the text talk where you can talk to a therapist, and
Hmm.
we're doing a
Hmm.
discount right now. If you're unemployed due to COVID,
Yeah.
instead of it being $80 a week or month or something, I think it's $65 now.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to do an advertising partnership with one of them, and that's how I found out
Mm.
about it. Um,
Yeah.
but I'm also working on a project. A lot of therapists are offering sliding scale right now. They're
Hmm.
offering, there's a
My
nonprofit
therapist
that,
not even charging me.
yeah, they're because
She's not
they're
even charging
like,
right now.
what are you gonna do? You took an
Right.
oath. You made a
Yeah.
decision to be a healer.
Right.
But you
Right.
still gonna
Yeah.
charge 120 per session when
Right.
you that
Exactly.
mother of 3, her husband died, and now she has
Hmm.
no job, and she's
Right.
trying to figure out her kids.
Yeah. You're right. You're
So
right.
I can talk about this all day. So
I know. Well, listen. Well, thank you for joining us. We have a lot of show to cover, so let's get into it. Want to remind everyone, if you're in Georgia, early voting starts next Monday on the 14th, and today's actually the last day to register. So you still have a few hours to register online if you can. But it's very important to vote in the runoff Senate because it determines who keeps power. But so make sure you do that. All right. So our question today. Well, first, Chike, I didn't get to you. My bad. Chike, how are you doing? How was your few weeks off? How you feeling?
Remember me? Your co-host, remember me?
Right,
I'm so
right.
sorry. Okay, I just ran with my bad.
But it was
It's
important. It
all
was
right.
important. It was
It's all
important.
good. It's all good. It's for the people, for the culture.
Yeah.
Um, um, I've been okay, holding it together. Um, got a slam dunk today of some bad news.
Yeah.
Lost a coworker. He was actually a fan of this show. Shout out
Mm,
to Lamont, aka
yes.
Stats from Prime Debates with Stats. That podcast, he will be missed. That was my brother from work. We played the dozens together. We bust
Yeah.
on each other. We shared information about just about everything. It was definitely a heartbreaker, and he will be missed. So,
Most
God
definitely.
bless him and his family.
They have
Yes.
you all have my deepest condolences. I'm so sorry.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. Thank you.
And,
Thank you.
we spend so much time with our coworkers. Even though sometimes we get on our nerves, but we, like you said, we spend so much time with them. A lot of times more than our family. So I know that's a
Yeah.
loss, and my prayers go out to you and to his family and everyone. All right. So our question of the day is, what would you tell your younger self? Nina, I'll let you take this.
You see, I made a face at you like,
I did.
no, I like this question. I use this question a lot of times when I do workshops and one-on-ones and things like that. So
Mhm.
and it's funny. Did you watch ooh, he gonna beat me. Um who was doing the VSU stories? My boy H. Did you ever watch
Oh,
that? So
I didn't know.
it was super cool. I did it during Mental Health Awareness Month. And he has
Okay.
a really cool show. This is. And so I brought up that point and I said I would tell my younger self, the first thing I would tell her is he doesn't love you. Love yourself first.
Mm,
Mm.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of our women are struggling. We love everybody but ourselves.
Hmm.
We forgive everybody but ourselves. So the next
Yeah.
thing I would say is, I forgive you for your
Hmm.
inexperience and your immaturity and your lack of knowledge and your ignorance.
Yeah.
You just didn't know. And I forgive you for going against the grain when you didn't know because you were just trying to learn.
Right.
I would
Exactly.
offer her some grace and say, it's okay to cry. It's nothing weak about tears. And you're a lot stronger than you give yourself credit for.
Yeah.
Um,
Most
and I
definitely.
would tell her that limitless thinking that you have is amazing. Don't ever let anybody make you think that that's a bad thing. Because when
Yeah.
I was younger, it's funny. So, and it's a material thing, but I, I'm a little bougie. So I like certain things. So when me and my friends were, I think we were 18, 17, 18, graduated from college. I mean, high school. And I said, you know what? When we get older, I'm going to buy me a BMW truck. And she was like, everybody would look at me like, okay, we all in the hood right now. 9 times out of 10, nobody's living in the hood. What do you mean? So I kept saying, I'm gonna buy me a BMW. And my friend reminded me, we went out had brunch in probably in 2000 and I forgot what year it was I got my truck. And she got out of my truck and she laughed. She said, you told me
You say you're gonna get it.
17 years old that you was gonna get this truck. And you got this truck. And I
Hmm.
said, my mother always told me, whatever you want, you can get it. It's always a way
Yeah.
to get to it. Now, how you
Most
get it
definitely.
is the key.
That's his
But
own thing. Right.
I would tell her, don't try to stifle that because I used to try to stifle it to fit into people's molds of what they thought I should be.
Yeah.
Um, and I would tell her that being diagnosed with a mental illness is not the end of your life. You
Right.
just have to know how to manage it. And if you
Hmm.
manage it well, you could be a beacon of light for so many people. And
Most definitely.
I would really tell her those things because I remember my younger self. And though
Yeah.
I was, I wore my mask. You know what I mean? Like I
Hmm.
wore my
Hmm.
mask very well. I wore it
Yeah.
very, very well.
Yeah.
I was a singer and an actress as a kid, so you can only imagine I can go outside and put on a show for everybody. Like,
Right.
hey,
Exactly.
or
Yeah.
college it was like tears or sleeping for days at a time, or I knew how to wear my mask.
Mm.
I would tell her just take the mask off, and
Yeah.
help is right there, and it's okay, and you don't have to want to end your life so frequently. Life is to be lived. The mistake.
Yeah. I think she froze a little bit. Chike, what would you tell your younger self?
Mm, um, to trust myself, trust yourself, trust your first instincts. Um, Looking back after being here almost half a century, uh, that's basically what I come up with. I look at my youth and I look at situations and decisions that I've made that I've wasted time second guessing or going around the mulberry bush when in the initial I already knew what the answer should be, and I didn't trust myself. So
Yeah.
definitely trust myself.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that. I would tell myself to don't be afraid and to push yourself as hard as you can. You know what I mean? Push yourself as
Yeah,
hard as you can. Don't be
yeah.
afraid. Yeah. That's definitely what I would do. I got Nina back. All right. Well, so quick Corona. Well, tweet us at home, Stephen Knight Show. Let us know, what would you tell your younger self? All right. So coronavirus update. We have surpassed 14 million cases domestically. Um, Nevada and California has the most cases in the U.S. Now, former New York mayor and Donald Trump's current attorney, Rudy Giuliani, he has tested positive for COVID-19, but he's 76 years old, but they said he's doing well and that he's getting the best treatment. Singer-songwriter, if you remember, Jeremiah, he was in ICU for COVID-19, but now he's been released, and so he's back home. Chike, again, you work in the medical field. What are you seeing, and what are your thoughts on where we are? Because a lot of people, Dr. Fucci was saying that he's more concerned about the numbers going up after Christmas than he was in Thanksgiving, because with Christmas it's a longer, between Christmas, then you have New Year's Eve and all that. And so he's really concerned. What are you seeing, and what are your thoughts on everything?
So the department in which I work in the hospital is the perioperative unit. The perioperative unit is the unit that conducts all of surgery. And we're basically isolated away from the rest of the hospital to the point where you can't even get on our floor unless you have direct access, so you belong there. But we hear the calls from all over the hospital simply because anesthesia is based in our unit, because of course we put people to sleep for surgery. But
Right.
one of the main things that anesthesia does is intubate. So, that's one of the key components when it comes to putting someone on a ventilator is intubation. That's how they actually get you on the ventilator, is to intubate you. And the calls for intubation have severely increased. So I'll hear uh, anesthesia stat, such and such floor. It's not directly connected to us, but it's connected to the doctors that I work with in anesthesia to run up to those floors because they have to emergency intubate somebody. And those calls are coming, it's like at least five a day at this point. And that was a rare thing. Now it's like five a day and it's increasing. And just for educational purposes, one of the doctors that I'm really cool with, we were actually in the middle of a conversation and a call came, and he was like, roll with me. And I went with him to the floor, and I actually got to see, I see intubation all the time on my floor, but I got to see an emergency intubation due to COVID, firsthand. And I can't imagine being in a hospital situation or being a patient and struggling to breathe. And then all of a sudden, your situation switches to dire. And then you have this influx of people into your room when you've been in there by yourself because you've been isolated most of the time.
Yeah.
And they're basically running in to shove a tube down your throat to leave you again. And it's heartbreaking and it's scary. And although I have seen intubation probably thousands of times, this is different because of the circumstances surrounding it and the dire need for it and just the weight of it. It's
Mhm.
how people can think that this thing is a hoax and it doesn't exist is beyond me.
It's crazy. A lot of people do think it's a hoax still. people, I told you, I think I said on the show before, there was a nurse on, I saw on the news, she said that people that are on ventilators are still saying it's a hoax. What else do
No.
you need to
So,
say? I
so,
don't,
so this is my thing. So people are arguing the fact of, okay, well, if you take care of yourself and you live a healthy lifestyle, then you'll be okay. That's true to a point. You never know how this virus is going to affect
right.
you if it
It
gets
affects
on
everyone
you.
differently.
You don't,
Mhm.
everyone differently. No, you may
Yeah.
not have pre-existing conditions, but there's a possibility that you have a condition that you may not know of, that this virus affects you differently than what you thought it was going
Hmm.
to. And you
Yeah.
don't know if you've never had the flu, you know how bad the flu can be. This is the flu times 50. It's
Right.
not the same
Yeah.
thing. Everyone
Yeah.
doesn't get over it the same way. And for the
Right.
most part, when you catch it, it does give you some type of sickness. It just to what degree? It's nothing to play
Mhm.
around with. Me personally, I wouldn't even play around with not wearing a mask or
No.
put myself in danger. Not even. And I think I'm one of the healthiest people.
And
And
you know,
this
I had a
goes
friend. I had a friend who was going to visit his dad who had COVID, and on his way to visit his dad passed away.
Mm.
no.
Yeah, Nina, you're a mother, and I know your daughter's probably affected by school and everything. How are you all doing in your household?
I actually have two little crumb crushers.
Oh, two. Okay, okay.
I have a 14-year-old son. Yay, puberty. And and my daughter is 9. Um,
Okay.
and initially, earlier in the year, we're in Georgia. We're right outside of Atlanta in Gwinnett County.
Mm.
And initially, it was, they were slow walking into it, and then it was a abrupt halt, and everybody was. And I'm asthmatic, and I've been hospitalized several times prior to COVID. As
Hmm.
an adult, I don't know, my asthma went left, and I was constantly hospitalized.
Oh wow.
My daughter, her and my son were both born with severe asthma, but because she was a preemie, she struggled a little longer. My son kind of outgrew it by 5 or 6. At 9, I think she's just rounding the bend, trying to like
Oh
being able
wow.
to kind of be okay with just an inhaler. She's been hospitalized as a baby, so my paranoia level is through the roof.
Yeah.
Parent.
Right.
But the downside, um, my children are engaging. They need a teacher. They want to be able to sit in a room and see things around the room
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
touch the books and sit near a kid,
Visual.
even though they gotta sit 6 feet apart. So homeschooling, the latter half of last school year, they were kind of okay. But the beginning of this year, they struggled terribly. So I actually
Yeah.
had to make a hard decision to send them back to school because it was affecting them in ways that I just
Right.
couldn't help anymore. Mentally, they were just becoming very somber, melancholy, fatigued. And I'm just like, what's
Hmm.
going on with my babies?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, okay, we're going to have to go buy a stockpile of masks, a whole lot of disinfectant soap,
Yeah.
and y'all got to go back to school because I can't have you in here with your mental health failing.
Right. Right.
And also, now it's affecting your ability to learn because you're sitting in the house
Hmm.
like, I've been in here forever. Please,
Yeah.
somebody, I want to be a kid. So it's
Right.
extremely heartbreaking to watch as a parent. Like, oh my gosh, like I was like,
Yeah.
okay, we're going to get you guys on a school bus. When they come home, the rule is anybody. I'm here, my dad's 75. So we got all kinds of stuff going on here. We have an elderly parent, we
Mm.
have 2 asthmatics. And then,
Right.
as you were saying, Chike, you don't know if you have an underlying condition that the virus may affect. I found out that I was not only, I knew I was anemic, but I was severely anemic. But there's a protein in your blood called ferritin, and it stores the iron for your body. And your iron levels have to stay. He understands your iron levels get stabilized. So the ferritin says, hey, you need some more. Well, my body, unfortunately, my ferritin level is a 4. It's supposed to be between 16 and 154.
Oh
My
wow.
body's not storing it. So that compromises my organs,
Mhm.
my immune system. That compromises everything. So now I have
Yeah.
two things to fight against. But I found out because I was becoming severely fatigued because my hemoglobin was shot. My body's not
Mhm.
storing iron. I'm vitamin deficient, and I was driving and I became lightheaded and I almost crashed my car. So that's how I
Wow.
found out about that. But had I not found
Yeah.
out, and God forbid I catch COVID, they're like, well, we don't know why her
Mhm.
body's responding to COVID this way. We don't get it. And people are
Mhm.
like you said, Chike, they're rolling the dice. They're gambling.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
severed ties with certain friends that I knew were playing it safe initially. And if I needed just some air, I would go sit on their patio with a mask and go, okay, I know I'm safe here because they absolutely go nowhere.
Right. Right.
Now I call it COVID fatigue, and they're
Oh, fatigue. It's real. Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, so I'm not coming to your house anymore until
Yeah.
2025. So
Yeah.
I'm not coming anywhere near you. And it's just as a mom, as somebody that has pre-existing conditions, this is not a game. This is
It's
not.
not a game. It's not a game.
It's really
It.
not.
I remember it was at one point I asked, did I know anyone who had passed away from COVID? And the answer was no then. But now I know several people who've lost several members to COVID, and I don't want it. I don't want to deal with it. And so, yeah, everyone, please be careful.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to y'all's crazy president. So Trump, his staunchest defenders on Capitol Hill are urging him not to concede after the president-elect Joe Biden wins electoral college vote next week, calling their party's leader to fight unsubstantiated claims of widespread election fraud, all the way to the House floor, in January. But conservative House Republicans argue that next week doesn't mark the end of Trump's desperate efforts to overturn the election results, which he has failed to do through the different lawsuits that have all been thrown out. What do y'all? Why? So he was here in Georgia over the weekend, supposedly campaigning for Leffner, and Leffner, and they're saying that the reason why Republicans are scared, not all of them, but a lot of them are scared to go against Trump because they need his supporters. They need the votes. He had 74 million votes. And so they want those supporters to be on their side. That's why publicly they're not going against Trump. But Biden said in an interview, him and Kamala Harris had a joint interview last week, that he's had a lot of calls from Republicans behind the scenes congratulating him. What do you think it'll take, Nina, for these Republicans to tell Trump, listen, it's over?
First of all, I just want to give a round of applause to Chike for that epic eye roll that he gave.
I think we're all doing that. We all doing that. It is
But
crazy.
his was like an old church lady eye roll. Like you want to smack the kids sitting next to you in the pew. Like if you don't stop doing what you doing,
Man.
like the eye roll, it was masterful. I applaud you, my man. I applaud you. Stephen, I'm a bit of I'm there's a separation of church and state, right?
Right.
That's the country that we live in. But I'm a firm believer in they're forgetting that at some point, y'all got to answer for all of this, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Like this is not the end. Like, okay, you win, you do all these insidious, terrifying things to affect the life and well-being of millions of Americans, and which is a domino effect of you now affecting other countries because of our exchange with them. You do know that millions of people's lives that you are playing with.
Absolutely.
Nothing. Like I scream at the TV. I'm like, is anybody not seeing that at some point y'all gonna have to answer for this?
Yeah.
That would be my message, because the thing is, you hear a lot of this. They're like, Christian,
the evangelicals
and the Christian conservatives, and they're like, Trump doesn't, he loves God, and it turns into this whole thing. Paula White, she wrote it was some kind of some craziness. I saw that
the Africans calling praying on the Africans.
First of all,
African angels.
Don't call our people. Leave them alone. They resting.
Right, exactly.
Call us. Stay out of our wheelhouse. Okay.
All right.
But it was just like, how is it that you can proclaim, and this is not all Christians, how is it that you're proclaiming to have this walk with God and this love for God, and knowing that God loves all people and we are responsible for each other as humankind,
Mm-hmm.
and then support an individual that needs to be charged for crimes against humanity for causing the death of almost 300,000, if not, I think we might have surpassed that number, American lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have caused a war on our lives, on our very existence, on our economy. And now you sit and continue to support him. And you are weasels and cowards because behind closed doors,
Y'all know right from wrong.
you're applauding
Yeah.
Biden for a good job well done, because you know he is a seasoned politician and you know you still got to play the game. I got to congratulate Joe because I might need something from Joe a little later.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is also, they said he has not been to a Corona task force meeting in months. And instead of him working with the Biden administration to come up with the cure or a vaccine or whatever they're trying to do, he's talking about voter fraud and that's all he's tweeting about. He's not tweeting about the 100,000 people that are dying each day. Chike, what are your thoughts on all this?
So it's my belief that they're playing a long game, or trying to play a long game, because this ideology, this Trumpism, as they've been calling it, is here to stay. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
He's going to be out of office, but that ideology is going to exist, and it's going to pop back up in 2024. And it's going to be something that we're going to have to contend with then. But now that we're woke, now that we understand our power and what the polls can do, we're going to do better moving forward. So we're not going to have to actually deal with the fact of before where we didn't know stuff and they were hitting us blindsided. We know now.
Yeah.
We're on to the game. What I have a problem with, actually I don't have a problem with it, because I do believe in the powers of the universe. I do believe that things will even themselves out. There's a balance, and I'm here for the shits.
Yeah.
I want him to stay in the office. I want him to hold onto that desk. I want him to dig his heels into that carpet. Stay there. Don't go anywhere, because I want the authorities to come in and snatch your arms behind from that desk and whip your hair back and forth. I want you there.
You know that toupee stay on his head once they snatch.
Oh, I want to see it. That tape is going to rattle loose. That thing is coming off.
Listen, when somebody snatch you, it's not going to.
Oh, but they're going to snatch him in a way, and it's going to be retribution for all that he has done. They're going to snatch him in a way. The after is what I'm waiting for. All the courts, all the suits, maybe jail time, but I'm here for it. I want to see it all.
Well, the thing is, all the lawsuits have been thrown out. And the thing is, this is how you know that they know they're wrong. Rudy Giuliani, who is his attorney, goes to court. When the judge asks him, is there fraud? He says no, because he can't lie in court. But when he gets out in public, there's all this voter fraud. There's all this. So
because Stephen, it's about the rhetoric. It's about jumping up the base.
Exactly.
It's about painting a narrative. It's about painting a picture. And if you say it too many times, even if it's a lie,
someone gonna believe it.
Truth. It becomes truth.
That's true. Well, let's take a quick break and come back with a few hot topics right back after this.